Dumelang batho ba Mebala and welcome to the 9 to 5 Hustler. As usual, I am your host, Moronga Musepi, but I think today you can call me Miss Mo. You know, like Janet if you're nasty. I don't know. It's a hot Friday. Don't don't judge me. It's another hot Friday in September and I don't think the temperatures are going down. But I have something better for you while you're just chilling in your house tonight. I have a wonderful guest, Japhala Aether Gwangwa. Like, you have a very deep name, sir. Do you know that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Before I ask you who you are and what you do and like where the hustles are, can I first start by asking about your name?
Aye.
Yeah, can we give some background into Japhala Gwangwa, like just the name?
Yeah, okay. Japhala, which people often mispronounce as everything under the sun, that's not Japhala. The number of times I've had to say that on a phone or receiving a call, guys will be like, is this? And then they pause.
Japhale?
Japhala. They really don't get it. I'm like, oh, Banda. And then, because like the mobile on, I'll be like, no, it's on. And then 9 times out of 10, oh, Japhala. What kind of Japhala? And then we can start the conversation. So this is Japhala from, if for all the viewers here, I don't need to explain. That's Japhala, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
if somebody, is not a Motswana, it's just, it comes from a proverb like Siana Sastrana, which in full is, should I translate? Okay, no, I'll start with Setswana. Botlhale jwa phala bo tswa phalaneng. Phala e senang phalane losilo, which directly translates to an impala without offspring. The intelligence of an impala comes from its offspring. Impala without offspring are foolish, which really translates to you learn from your children. You get wisdom from the next generation. So that's basically what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. I know, like, we used to love naming kids very specifically, and I said to myself when I read to your name, it has to have real meaning. It has to be one of those real Setswana names. Not like Moronga is not a real Setswana name, but there's no story like that behind my name. It was just, she was born at a good time, so we were given an angel. Cool, she was sent by the Lord. Yay!
That's pretty strong, though.
Okay,
it's
fine.
intentional,
Fine, you have a fair point. A fair point. On to you, because this is not about me. So, what is it that you do from 9 to 5? And then what is the nighttime job, the hustle? What brings in the extra income and the passion?
Okay, cool. My mom was cooking with that name, though, Japhala.
She was. She ate and left no crumbs.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so the 9 to 5. I work as a content producer at the Dialogue Group. Okay. That is my day job. That is my 9 to agency closing time. And then after that, that's kind of where it starts to get a lot more amorphous, if you will, because, I am a writer, rapper, spoken word artist, guitarist, musician, voiceover artist, right? Those are the skills, the talents that I have. I love creating, whether it's music, whether it's film, and whether it's just using my voice to, tell interesting stories as different characters. That's the stuff that kind of feeds my soul. And so because of that, after hours, I'm probably doing one of those things.
Okay.
Like one-off. Because if you think about it, if you want to make it as a musician, you need to do a lot of work. If you want to make it as a filmmaker, you need to do a lot of work. Voiceover artist, same thing. And so now I'm like, okay, what do I do? As of late, the two things of that long list that I've kind of put down that I've been focusing on, and I want to say and have brought in the most money, but that's not entirely true. I've been spending a lot of time on music and voiceover work recently. So my personal film endeavors have kind of fallen to the wayside temporarily. And so the voiceover work, more than anything, if I'm going to be objective about this, that's what's really bringing in like the secondary income and all that kind of stuff. It's been really, really good to me. And so, after hours, I kind of pushed that stuff. I recently joined a talent management agency in South Africa, which has been really helpful. Probably couldn't have done that if I wasn't consistently doing voiceover work, after hours. So that's been really cool. So that's the main thing. And then if I'm not doing that, now it's the music because I've missed it. Now I want to get back into that. And so, I'll be hitting studio, doing these recording sessions or writing sessions or composition sessions because I like, I create my own beats and I play the instruments and then, write the lyrics, sing and stuff, do scratch recordings. Then I go to studio and then we lay the stuff down. So that's another thing that I do to, push the talent, but I want to get back to gigging because there's money there. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay, okay. Wow, guys. Creatives are like overly talented for no reason. So essentially, if you had a studio, what you're telling me is if you had a studio, not like a studio like this guy's, like, you know, where like all the other people record properly. If you had a studio, Mongalina, you would be able to now produce your own tracks and like release them out into the world.
Yeah, top to bottom. If anything, I would probably bring in like somebody for mastering, because it's an art of its own. You know what I mean? I can get my own mixing elements down, make sure everything sounds good, but there's something delicate. If you get like somebody who's focused on even like mixing, like there are people who are just magical when it comes to that, and so I know that I might just be able to elevate the music to a much higher level. If after putting it all together and recording it and everything, I'm like, okay, great, let me get someone to come in for the mixing and the mastering. It would just, it would change the output.
Okay.
But yes, technically I could just do the whole thing one man.
So guys, I've been sitting here saying yeah about mixing and mastering like I actually know what that is. I know a few weeks ago we had a conversation with Nephew and he really tried to teach me about sound engineering, but hey guys, we don't really grasp some other relatively logical things properly. So if you'll give me 2 minutes while I go to the back and figure out what mixing and mastering is, we'll be right back on the 9 to 5 Hustler. Welcome back to the 9 to 5 Hustler. I am still with our wonderful guest, Japhala Aether Gwangwa. He is, I want to say, everything creative except an actor, dancer. Is that the right way?
I cannot draw to save my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, that makes a longer list. No, actor. We'll leave it at actor, dancer, guys. Nobody needs to know that maybe he doesn't draw, like with a pen and a pencil type thing. But we did learn that you are a content producer in your day-to-day job, and then at night when other people are sleeping,
except artists,
you're writing, you're making music, you're producing music, you are being a voiceover artist. I think I've forgotten some things on the list.
And secretly working on some film projects.
Okay, and secretly working on some film projects. What does a typical day look like? Like, what time do we wake up? Is there time for lunch? Do we sleep? You know, like, what does a typical day look like for content producer slash?
Okay, cool. So I'm up like latest at 5:30.
Yo, that's early.
I have a child that goes to school.
Oh,
so when he's up, it's very difficult to work, right? Because small children, like it's a toddler, it's like 4 years old.
Fair point.
They require attention
once
and
they're
energy
up
and care, and so 5:30 is helpful. That's like the latest that I can do it, so that I can have time for just getting myself together in the morning, like personally, spiritually, emotionally. I really got to get myself together. So yeah, I don't want a situation where I wake up and I sprint. Like wake up, get my boy ready, get to work, do the hectic, agency grind, get back, do bedtime and all that stuff, and then grind again. It ends up feeling like some sort of like hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Right? And then you kind of lose track of yourself. You disconnect from your roots and you careen off into the universe.
That's true.
Of access. So I like to wake up early so that I can just make sense of myself, be aware of how I'm feeling, because oftentimes how you feel when you first wake up says a lot about how you're feeling in general.
That's true.
Then you fix what needs to be fixed. I like to get some meditation in to really root and ground myself. Do a little bit of yoga just to stretch the body.
Why you gotta say it like that? Like, what's wrong with yoga?
I'm physical, like very physical.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with yoga. Yoga's great. But I use it as a supplementary tool. So then I'll just do yoga and then afterwards do some body weight training. So that's what the yoga's for. So
to limber the muscles.
So I don't hurt myself on the way to work. So yeah, it's not easy, because if you finish late, and I'll get to that when I get to the end of my day, being up at 5:30 is problematic. Also, the whole I don't want to hurt myself on the way to work. I've noticed that being someone who likes sort of working out and pushing a warrior mindset, the difference between the high schooler who was like doing boxing and playing rugby when he was like, between 15 and 21, and now at 37, I'm telling you, the body moves different. So you gotta honor it.
I noticed that the day I turned 30, suddenly my knees were like, I'm tired.
So you warm up and then you jump in. Yeah. So where are we now? Okay, we've done the, some sort of meditation or prayer. It's not clockwork. It's not the same thing every day. You know, someday I'll meditate. Next day it's like, okay, let's get some prayer going. Next day it's journaling. Just a way to quiet your mind and your spirit and everything. So you're like, what's up? What's going on in here? Where are you at? How do we adjust? Because when you get into the working world or whatever, it's just a lot of stuff happening. So you want to build up your shield and your sword and your armor and all of that kind of stuff. So you're at peace, right? Cool. After that, I get myself ready. After that, I get my son ready. Or my wife gets my son ready. But she's better at doing like the breakfast stuff. It's because it's such a, we used to like alternate a lot, but I don't know, man. She's like really, really good at like varying the meals a lot. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe you stick to that and I'll stick to getting our boy ready so that we're out the door at the right time. Cool. So that's what happens. And then we're out the door, drop him at school, go to work, get to work just before 8, get in the zone a little bit, catch up on whatever interesting news stuff is happening, not like tabloid news. Yeah, like when I'm in the office.
No, I mean like news in the office or like international.
Like international.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
International news, what's happening in terms of like brands or advertising or marketing or mostly it's not pop culture, but like just culture in general.
Yeah.
So
the kinds of things that would push the next ad or the next brand.
Yeah.
Idea.
Or just the energy. What are people doing right now? What's sort of trending? And the thing is, it's tough for me to make sense of that. I don't like trends, but I have to understand them so that I can leverage them for clients. So I just find out what's new, what's happening, what's all of that.
Yeah.
Also read some stuff that's not exactly just work related. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a geek, so I want to find out what's happening in that world. What's happening in terms of, I don't know, nature or science or gaming or technology or really cool musical equipment or the geeky part of the film world. So I'll read that kind of stuff just to prime my brain as well. Because now I'm like reading, at speed, absorbing information, learning new things, because that's literally half of my job. So when I've finally gotten the engine going, then we can start the day. And so from 8 to like sort of around lunchtime, which is pushing work. And it just depends what it is. Either I'm, writing a script, writing a storyboard, preparing for a TVC, doing something for video, briefing in some sort of animation. And I say briefing in because I can visualize it. I cannot draw. I can find the references. I can make a storyboard using references. I will write the dialogue for this thing. I will come up with the characters if I have to, but then I will go and sit with the animator and say, this is what I had in mind based on this. Then, we'll talk about it, and then he'll go and he'll do incredible work.
So you can draw in your mind?
Yes.
Yeah, it counts, doesn't it? People like, he can still draw, he can describe it to you, and then you make it real.
I will say thank you. Yeah. So that's that. And then, hey, lunch can be a luxury. It depends. On some days, sure.
Did you just say lunch can be a luxury?
Yes, it can. It just depends on what's happening, what season we're in, what our clients are doing. Yeah. Sometimes, sure, you can get a full hour, you know what I mean? Which is great, and it's recommended. And, our bosses will be like, make sure you take a lunch break away from your desk, clear your mind, because that is the healthy way to work, But I'll admit, sometimes it's rough. Sometimes you don't take the lunch. Sometimes you take it late. Sometimes you take just enough time to eat and back at the grind. But most of the time, I try very hard to just give myself that time. Because if I don't, somebody will take it. Right? And I think this goes to anybody who works in agency. It's like, if you do not carve some time for yourself, especially when it's like allowed, in the eyes of the world and client and everything, you're going to have a hard time. Then you won't eat. And I just don't know why you want to dishonor your body like that.
That's very, very true. We all tend to need a break. And I'm going to ask you to pause for just a second because my viewers, they need some water. And honestly, you do a lot between 8 and 1. Like, no, between 5:30 and 1. I need to absorb that for a second. Guys, please, let's go drink some water and think about whether we can match 5:30 to 1 in Japhala's world. I don't think I can, but I want to try. I really do. We'll be right back on the 9 to 5 Hustler. And we are back on the 9 to 5 Hustler. We just had to disappear quickly for a second. I want to take you back because you know what? I know I looked like I was judging you when I said lunch is a luxury. But that's my life. I don't often take lunch. Like,
I don't think you were judging.
it's difficult working in media. I mean, I'm not a content producer, but we work in media, and like today, my day started officially at 1:00. If I came here without having eaten,
Yep.
that was going to be a problem. But then if I sit down instead of doing my makeup and eat, it's still a problem. So I get it. Lunch is a luxury when you are working in certain industries. And if your boss is nice enough, like his boss is nice enough and says, take your lunch and take it. Please, guys, please eat. Scurvy, diabetes, all these things that come from not having a regular diet are not good for you.
Scurvy.
Lack of vitamin C.
I'm hearing you, but wasn't that like a 17th century pirate thing? There's scurvy today.
Yeah, if you don't have enough vitamin C, you can still get it.
And I just thought that thing like died with parrots, but okay.
No, not yet.
I learned something new today.
Yes. But then, okay, I'd like to imagine after lunch, same push the 9 to 5 hustle.
Yes.
Okay, what does the evening look like when we are doing the personal writing, the personal films? Is it day by day?
Yeah, provided it's not wild times with agency and with client, which can be hectic. And if it's wild times, then
like where you have to put in overtime to complete a project?
Yeah, well, it's just like all hands on deck, which happens sometimes, and that's all we're doing. And if that happens, everything else pauses and we push. You know what I mean?
Honestly, we all watch Generations. We know what happens.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not that spicy, but sure. So anyway, if we've gone through the gauntlet of hectic times and all of that, and there's a period of not exactly calm, but of like somewhat normal, then I can safely say, and put down my agency sword at like 6:30 or whatever. Like even in my mind, I can be like, okay, I'm putting this down. I'll check the group, you know what I mean? I'll get home and I'll be like, okay, everything burning. No. And if it's crazy, if it's really, really crazy, somebody will call me. You know what I mean? And if it really is that wild, sharp. You know, I honor where I'm at. The job allows me to do so many things. So I'm like, cool, man, let's cook. You know, and a lot of the time when that happens, it's nobody next to me's fault. It's just something really wild is happening that's very important to client. And so for the sake of that relationship, we'll just do what we have to do. Yeah. But that's agencies worldwide.
Yeah, I'd like to believe so.
And it's very hectic.
Yeah, it's client oriented. You can't necessarily say no to the person paying everybody's check.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Late stage capitalism.
Yeah.
All right. So jokes aside. On a good day, right, I can now do my own thing. So once my son is asleep and I've had dinner with my wife and we've had a conversation about our day and our life and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, so what are we doing? You know, and who knows, maybe at some point she'll have her on the show because she does a bunch of stuff too. And so we fully understand that there are dreams outside of the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's like, which one are we pushing? Because you don't want to have 10 things you push forward one step. Oftentimes you want to try and get one thing forward 10 steps. So what's the main focus? And so I look at it, okay, what's the goal? You know, and the last sort of week was pushing to release one of my songs. And so that sort of like filled my mind for a little bit. I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's look at this thing. Let's listen to the current mix. So I might get into that music phase after hours. I don't like to do too much after hours because I want to be able to sleep at some point. Okay. So I'll try to keep it to one discipline. I'll be like, okay, tonight it's music. Tonight we're exploring new themes because I want to get my track list for the album to 17. I'm at 15 right now. So let's explore a lot of these productions I have. Let's see if I can find a spark.
Yeah.
We do that sometimes. Other times we're focusing on this one song, which I'm recording on Friday. Maybe it's Tuesday night. And so I'm like going through it and, sort of practicing, experimenting with different cadences and stuff, whatever. Other times it's voiceover stuff. I go online and send a bunch of emails. Send my voice bank, if you will, to a bunch of different people who I'd like to work with. Other times it's just checking, trends in the voice space. What are people doing now? Is AI voice work really going to take our lunch? And if it is, how do we prevent that from happening, right? How do you make yourself, inviolable to the AI machine uprising? So there's research in that. And, other times I'll be like inspired, right? And when that happens, because you also got to practice, right?
Yes.
If you're not
As
careful,
with everything, you have to practice.
Yeah. If you're not careful, you just stop doing the things you love.
Yeah.
And so other times I'll be like, okay, you know what? It's just me and my guitar. Let's see what happens. And I'll just jam, practice, ooh, new song, right. That's what happens other times. Sometimes I'm working on a pitch Bible because there's like
Pitch Bible?
It's like I want to say a tender document, but it's kind of like, it's like a business proposal for a film project.
Oh,
so it has,
okay.
Yeah, basically. If you wanted to build a mall, you come up with a business plan and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So a pitch Bible is kind of like a business plan for a film project, but not exactly. It's similar. It's more visual. It's like a very visual business plan. That's the pitch Bible part. Full of information, characters, arcs, your log line, your just everything about what does the world look like, why are we telling the story, why is it important, what's your target market, what does it kind of sound like? Is it a mix between, Arcane and Dragon Ball Z? Is that what it is? And you put all that information in there. Who would you cast for this thing? How much is it going to cost? So you kind of, maybe
put
not the cost stuff, but everything else goes into something that they call a pitch Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Bible for your pitch. So I spent a lot of time working on that as well because I have a couple of, really awesome stories that I'm like, how do I sell these? And I'm learning a lot about marketing and advertising, obviously from the day job.
Yes.
So then I apply that into
the night
film
job.
stuff. So and then
Smart.
sometimes I go to a studio and I record voiceovers. Like Tuesday nights I'll be home late because I'm going to go and get the bag.
Yo. Yeah. No, you have a. Yeah, no, you're like Edith. You have this, because she's Wonder Woman, so I guess technically you're Wonder Man, because for some reason you two are just, like, there's 5 or 6 or 7 jobs, and once again, do you actually sleep? Like, no, for real, do you guys get some sleep?
Yes. And if you don't, I think your body will force you. At least, let me not speak for other people. Me personally, if I don't get rest and I just keep pushing, eventually my body will just say, okay, sit down. And then, I just will start feeling very bad.
Okay.
And I'll have no choice but to sleep. Okay. Like physically, my body will just start like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I've burned myself out before, and nobody wants that. That's when you push too far and your body will demand all of its time and its energy and its sleep back from you, and that could take you out for like 4 days if you're not careful.
Yeah, it could be very, very bad timing.
Yeah.
And we've seen it with a lot of artists. I'm not sure if a lot of the younger artists are paying attention to like their predecessors and their idols, but we have a lot of people passing out on stages and getting dehydrated, potentially sometimes not waking up, all because we pushed ourselves way too far. The body does have its limits, and I think maybe this is a good time for you guys to go think about your personal limits and how far you want to push yourself to achieve your dreams, especially if you're an artist. And we'll be back on the 9 to 5 Hustler just now. Welcome back to the 9 to 5 Hustler. We are still here with Japhala Aether Gwangwa, who has a day filled with stuff. And not just regular stuff, like real stuff, work stuff, things that you have to write down and remember every single day. And your job is so like forward-facing, so people-facing. I don't imagine it's necessarily easy to ever like turn off per se. Like, where are the challenges? I want to imagine one of them is being able to completely shut down, but like, how difficult is it being content producer by day? Depends on what kind of creative by night.
It's energy management as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, that's the biggest challenge, energy, because if you work, in agency, there's a lot that you have to do and be aware of. You're dealing with brands and their reputations, and so you got to get the work right. So there's a lot of pressure, and you want to follow industry best practice, but you also want to be innovative, but you also want to stick within the brand guidelines, and you also want to push the envelope. So it's a lot of work, and it's very mentally draining in terms of energy. Not like negative spiritual drain, but like mentally draining because you use so much of your brain. You're active and you're pushing. A lot of the time you can leave work and just feel like this very tight rubber band around your head. It's just kind of hectic.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So now after that, you want to go and write a pitch Bible or write a song. The funny thing is the song comes from the heart, so that it never really feels like work.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're chasing deadlines on the music side, right? There was a time I had self-imposed midnight deadline for the release of my last single, Exit Crisis, because I felt I wasn't making enough progress because of all the work stuff. And so I said, you know what? No, I'm releasing the song midnight Friday. And this was like on Wednesday. And I was like, you know what? Nope, we're doing it. And so that was great. And I felt kind of tired there because I went straight from work on Friday to studio. And yeah, we knocked the song out. Like, like it was almost done. Just had to like redo a verse and redo a chorus at the end, and then add a bass line, and then do some mixing and some mastering.
No, that doesn't sound like almost.
Oh, that's almost. That's one session if you do it right.
Really?
Yeah. Long session because we went from 5 p.m. to midnight. Yeah, so it was a long session.
Wow.
But we did that. So I felt tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, woof, okay, I'm going up a mountain. But I was like, I'm going up a mountain. Oh, that's so cool. Because like that was my goal to begin with. So I get to the top of the mountain and then I shout from like the spine of the world. And I'm like, yes, I did this.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So energy management. That's
Yeah.
the main thing. That's challenging. You need to have enough energy to do the stuff you want to do instead of like getting home, doing your responsibilities as a father and a husband and then just crash. Because there was a time when that just happened. For like 2 weeks, that's all I did. Work, go home, parent, husband, crash, and then continue because I was just tired and like burned out. And I was like, nope, hold on, let's find another way.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
Yeah. My body was just exhausted, so was my mind. So I was like, let me give myself a chance, which is where, the yoga comes in, the physical activity, the body weight training, all that stuff to remind your body that, you need to be strong here, and I'm going to help you out, by breaking down my muscle every now and then so that you can regenerate it stronger.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the challenge part.
Yeah, okay.
Energy management.
I could see how energy management would be like the hardest thing. I can't say I've ever really been in advertising like that. I mean, I once worked for this cute little school. I took some pictures, I made some posters, but it wasn't real advertising. There was a system. I followed the system, guys. It wasn't.
We have systems, CI guidelines and stuff. Use this color and this logo only in this thing.
It's always my guests trying to convince me that I'm something I'm not ready to be.
Don't gotta put yourself down. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, it is in these kinds of jobs that I tend to say, no, I'm tired. Like just this today, I've been here a couple of hours and I'm already like, well, guys, I'm good. My body is tired. My mind is tired. So I don't know what. Like I can only imagine how much more intensive it is after a full 8 hours of just constant think, rethink, reshape, redesign, think, rethink. Yo, okay.
Manage.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then you still have to go home and do more of it, but for yourself.
Yeah.
Where do you find the motivation, to be honest? Like where do we go inside ourselves and say, hey, we have to keep going?
My dreams,
Nice.
Yeah. The dream was not placed inside of me to just fester. It was not supposed to be there at my grave, just sitting there like, damn, this guy didn't do that thing, right? I think my dream was given to me as like a divine mandate. It's something I feel it fills me up from the heart. Like I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because like it's really important to me. It burns in me like every day. My cousin, sister noticed this a long time ago, and she's like, you realize that if you don't chase your dream, you will be very miserable. I'm like, trust me, I know. And so I push because it fills me with joy. The fact that, Encratea is out on all platforms, or that Exit Crisis is out since the 6th of September makes me very happy. And I'm excited about like finishing the album and releasing that and being able to share that part of myself with the world, I want to do the same thing with the film projects. When they see the light of day, God willing, that'll be a measure of joy, and it'll take so much energy, but I'm happy to give that energy.
Yeah.
It's blood, sweat, and tears, a sacrifice I'm very happy to make, because when that light is in the world, it helps so much, it motivates so many people. The number of people who hit me up and said, yo, your music though, what you've been releasing this year, oof, really touching my heart and stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting how your art, I don't think your art is necessarily for you. It feeds you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Feeds
but
your
it's
soul,
for the people
but
who
it's
hear
really
it
for the
or see it.
Yeah. So I do it because it fills my heart. It's also part of that ikigai, that concept of, it's like a Japanese concept.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I forgot what it's about, but
it's essentially, and I'll try and remember this, but apparently the sort of perfect balance in terms of work, if you will, or work-life balance,
Yeah.
is finding or creating a job that you are good at, that you can get paid for, that the world needs, that you enjoy. I hope those are the four things. As in, I hope there's no fifth. But yeah, once you find that sort of middle point where all of these are satisfied or whatever, that's supposed to be the sweet spot. Yeah, yeah. You're good at it, you love doing it, you can get paid for it, the world needs it. I hope those are the four things. If not, correct me. Yeah.
That sounds about right, though. I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know how possible it is for everybody to find that sort of work, but at the same time, I don't know when it was, a few years ago, when I was reading Chimamanda's open letter, and she quite honestly made it clear that like the 9 to 5 doesn't actually have to make you happy.
Yeah.
There are things that it'll do for you that'll make you happy. So it's very possible for what you're spending your 8 hours doing not to be the thing you love, the thing you're most passionate about, but perhaps it can fund the thing you love, the thing you're most passionate about, and that's where you can find your joy. That's where you can find your young niche. But I don't know, guys. Think about it for a second, and then let us know if maybe we've got it wrong. Because maybe us were just
It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. Maybe we're just two creatives just talking out of our wazoos. We don't know just yet. Think about it for 2 minutes, and we'll be right back on the 9 to 5 Hustler. Batho ba Mebala, unfortunately, this is the last I have of Japhala for today. Maybe I can bring him back with Edith, and maybe they can give you guys a masterclass on like how to be a super entrepreneur. But for now, because you did mention some nice achievements in releasing some singles, is there anything else that you would say is a huge success for you, a huge achievement, something you're truly proud of doing?
Yeah. Where to start? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to keep this short.
Yes, yes.
It was really cool winning the Kimbali 2020 Poetry Slam. It was International
nice.
Poetry Slam. But also, COVID rocked up in the middle of nowhere, and so the slam ended up being online. But, we had poets from all over the world jumping in there. And, I went in there and won that. It was really nice. It's always good to just remind myself that I can put down the guitar, I can put down a whole bunch of things, and just go in and use my voice, and I can win stuff internationally. Very cool. And then my company that I work for, the Dialogue Group, this project that we've been pushing for a while, trying to get it above board. It's called Inspiring News. It was one of the projects that won that levy for technical. That secret thing. Yeah, so we won that, which was really cool because it's actually a very positive, impactful project, and that's really all I want to do is use my creativity to make positive impact in the world, and also create jobs and make the world a bit brighter than it is because there's a lot of darkness. And so I'm really glad about that. That was recent. So, it has a lot of guap, and we can now go and tell these stories and empower other people to share their stories. But maybe we'll come back and talk about just that.
We could do that.
Yeah, I released 2 singles in the past 5 months. One is called Encratea. I don't know if y'all can see that in the background. The other one is called Exit Crisis. Encratea is a standalone single. Exit Crisis is on the album. Great vibes. Makes me happy. What else am I really proud of that happened lately? No, I think I'm cap it there. No, not true. Signing up on the South African Voice Bank thing, getting picked up by a talent agent who's based in South Africa. Really cool because the work I've done in SA always pays me 20 times more than the video work that I do here. So I've reconnected to that part of the industry, and it makes me very happy because the opportunities are really great. Finally, my video work has really picked up over the last couple of years. I'll tell you a secret. Just before marriage time, there was so much money that I needed to spend, and I was like, how am I going to make this money? Because it's a lot more than I make in a month, a lot more. And then a month before the wedding, and I was like, how many goats and cows and horses am I going to have to buy here? Okay, that's a lot. How am I going to do this? A lot of that money came from voiceovers.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell me more of the secrets after this.
Yeah, so I'm really grateful that as of late, there's been some really big victories for the voiceover work. Started doing little mini documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Huh. Okay. Those guys, I hope you have a list of achievements like that, okay? Just for yourself. I'm not saying they need to be as big, but I hope you are looking at your goals and ticking off every time you achieve something. Now, where do we find you? How does one call Japhala Gwangwa and say, hey, I need some content? And then how does one call Ether and say, hey, I need some music?
Yeah, Nick, I wonder about that. I'm not giving up my number. Okay, if you're looking for the content producer, just go to the dialogue crew.
Okay.
If you're looking for the film producer or the creative director or the writer, whatever, you can find him on Facebook at Enter Ether. Ether like there. If you're looking for the same guy on Instagram, you can go infinite_Ether. That is where I can be found. Yeah, hit me up. Let us create art, whether it's voiceovers or music or film. Just, yeah, man, let's collaborate and create beautiful things. One of my favorite things is working with other creators to just shed more light, make more money and create more jobs. Honestly speaking, I think half the world's problems are caused by just this rat race thing and struggles with like ourselves, our minds, and money. And if we can alleviate some of that struggle, somehow, we can just alleviate human struggle in general.
Yes, yes. Well, guys, what a way to end a Friday. And I hope now you're feeling good, you're ready to go paint the town red, and you have a Uber, InDrive, cab, deluxe, I don't know, somebody who'll pick you up, because, we don't drink and drive in this country, or at least we shouldn't.
You can paint the town blue.
Okay.
Just go and have...
Actually, that's even better.
Green
Go
tea.
paint the town blue. No, we paint the town blue because we're in Botswana and there's no red in our flag. Please, go paint the town blue and then catch me again next week on the 9 to 5 Hustler, where we talk everything 9 to 5 and hustles.